Hi, this is Kim Pinkney, and welcome to the Daily Doodle, and I'm going to share with you some of my angst here. None of these images were going to make it to video, but since I'm so far behind in my Daily Doodle and my inspirations and whatnot, I decided to just combine a whole bunch of them that I've been working on that never would have made it up to par. This one here was a character I was trying to design based on an actress from How to Get Away with Murder. And as I was drawing her, I was like, why don't I do the whole cast? And maybe make them into like little cartoon characters or little Disney characters. But after I started drawing her, and I loved how she was styled, so I just kept going. I didn't have the other characters with me, so I just didn't finish. Still at the laundromat, I decided I wanted to draw something dramatic for the Daily Doodle, and I wanted to draw a sorceress pulling something from an orb. Like I had another cartoon where I had it was like a cartoon class of a guy pulling power from a pixie or whatnot inside of an orb. But with this, I couldn't get the legs right, so it was also time to go. So when I got home, I decided maybe I want to draw a gladiator. And then as I started to draw, I'm like, well, let me do a celebrity. So one of the ones I decided was Shamar Moore. And after a while, I was thinking, well, maybe he's just a little too pretty for this. The picture that I found of him in the direction that I wanted him to face, and I wasn't sure what I wanted. You know, I'm always asking myself, what is he doing? Where's he going? How is he doing it? You know, and what is he doing it in? And as I'm drawing his face, and then I'm about to get to his body, and I'm like, I don't know if I like this so much. I started losing interest. So as I kept going and going, I'm like, well, why don't I make him into like a dragon knight or something like that? And a gladiator. I'm like, ooh, he's got a nice chest. Let me try this. So I started working on that. I wanted to give him a unique chest piece. And I was thinking of having two dragon fingers coming around his waist, his upper torso. And as the night wore on, I started just getting tired and just losing my inspiration. I didn't know whether or not I wanted to put a helmet on him, or if I wanted to leave his head bare. On his shoulder armor, I couldn't decide what I wanted to put on it, but I wanted to leave it. I wanted to make it more of a dragon type thing. So I started to style it, but the thing about it is that I wanted to leave off one of the horns. I wanted to make it look like he's actually been fighting and stuff. But he's not rugged enough looking. He's not torn up and just disillusioned and shattered or whatnot. It's not even triumphant looking. It's just pretty much blah. So it just is a wake-up call to me that I need to put more expressions into my people and stuff. So after a while, I just got tired, and this is where I pretty much left off. I almost didn't even bother to save my doodle, but here's my angst on it, and where I ended up. I'm like, I didn't even know how to do his hair. I'm like, should I leave him at the cross cup or So next one I decided, I was a little bit more inspired, and this was my Elfro Puff. She was going to be a steampunk black elf, and I made her head too big. So with her head being this big, I said, well, why don't I just make her hair the focus? So I was going to make big afro puff with braids in the front. Maybe I hadn't decided. I just got to a point where I was like, I just lost that love and feeling. I just didn't want to keep going. So here's where I am. I started to style the ears. And the jacket. I think what I lost it was I was going to put clocks in her hair, pretty much as the barrettes, holding the braids in place. And when I couldn't get the clocks straight, I guess I let that frustration get to me. They were really tiny, so you really wouldn't be able to see the numbers very well. And you know, just now I'm just thinking, well, maybe I should have made them into gauges instead of clocks. But yeah, one of the other frustrations was I was going to make them into like cogs, little machinery parts. And just now, gauges seems like would have been a better idea. But I spent all this time making the braids, trying to come up with different ideas on what to do with it, and it just really wasn't going anywhere for me. But I might come back to it because she had a really pretty face, but you know, you just, when that muse comes to you and then she just leaves like poof, it's like, this is frustrating. So, but you know, the ideas are still there. So she would have been Elfro Puff, the mechanic, I suppose. If I do revisit it, I would probably do something. See, those are the little clocks. I would have made them alternating sizes, and then I was going to put like some sort of connecting thing, maybe some sort of fan-looking shape or shell shape. But I just didn't keep that Zentangle idea going. I looked at it and I went, bleh. These aren't looking like the droids I was looking for, I guess you could say. But I might revisit that idea with Afro steampunk. Okay, here's an idea that I had for a Chinese zodiac, but using hoodies. So I made a pig, made the year of the pig, since that's my year, and the dog, and her hand is going inside the hoodie, and it has a bone on it. This one was done around Halloween time, and just never finished it. I kind of wanted a witch with a basket full of skulls. She's kind of crazy looking, so, but I never finished it. I did something else instead. This one here was a cat, which I really didn't have too many ideas. It was too much looking like a different other idea what I was working on, and I kind of just abandoned it for now. I did get as far as coloring the skin. This is a Harajuku girl, and I just wasn't sure what I wanted her to look like, so I just kind of left her alone. I might come back to her, might not, probably not. Maybe try a different thing, different pose. This one here I was doing with Crayola colored markers, and I just was not liking the pose of the first girl, and the second girl was an afterthought, so I'll have to probably redraw that. And lastly, did I say I like gladiators? I got Elvis, and Elvis is going to be with us until the end here. He's going to take us to the end titles, and thank you so much for watching, and again, like and subscribe, and hopefully the next Daily Doodles will be a little bit more inspired, and if anything, I hope it inspires you. Have a great one.